Welcome back here with Money, and we are discussing debt instruments. What's the best debt vehicle to park your money in, depending on your requirements and, of course, your age specifications? Gaurav, now I want to toss this to you. Let's take a hypothetical example of a working professional somewhere in their 30s, where, yes, you want safety, which is why you're primarily putting in some money in debt and not entirely in equity, but you're also thinking return. You also want to maximize the benefits. You're also thinking, where can I save tax as well? And now that the small saving schemes rates are, fairly low, between 7 and 8%, I would also perhaps wonder if debt mutual funds would give me some kind of a better advantage.
So you got it bang on target. What will happen is that you have to look at debt mutual funds, but debt mutual funds are of 2 or 3 variants, and unless you have skills and the time to monitor that, you seek and help from either a mutual fund company or somebody who's qualified. What are the kind of funds where you want to look at? One is, some debt mutual funds are what they call as accrual based, and some are duration. I'll simplify that. The debt mutual fund whose strategy is to go for accrual, they will go and pick up the bonds, debentures, and hold on to it till end. Which means even if interest rates go up or down, they'll keep accumulating, and eventually when they mature, you get your money back. So
these funds are not trading in and out of these debt securities?
They will not. That's their strategy. They're looking at accruing the income within them. These are the funds which will not give you phenomenal return, but will give you more or less consistent.
Okay.
The second one is duration. Duration is a little technical term. From simple perspective, those funds will take a call on whether interest rates are going up and down, and they will trade in those securities, which means they'll buy and sell those bonds. Now there, the fund manager's call can go wrong. But if his calls are right, then there's a good possibility of you earning higher returns. So as an individual, as a professional, as a youngster, you are looking at some kind of push for allocation to debt, and you're looking at a return, and you're saying, okay, I'm willing to go along with the risk, then pick up debt mutual funds, which is having strategy of duration based trading, or the dynamic bond funds, which will kind of jump between the two. How we have flexi-cap funds in equity, which will go across multi-cap, large-cap, mid-cap. You have dynamic bond. So these are certain technical terms. Yes, they are technical, but live with it, because you are trying to see too many things in a single instrument.
So let's say I go in for, a dynamic bond fund. In that case, what are the other caveats I should keep in mind? How soon can I withdraw the money? Are there any caps? What are the taxation sort of issues around these instruments that I must keep in mind?
So in terms of liquidity, it's same as all other debt funds. 2 to 3 days time, you'll have money in your account. And I'm saying 3, keep it 5, because there could be technical error, there could be holidays, whatever. So safely consider 5 days is when you'll have money in your bank account. It'll probably come much earlier, 1 or 2 days. You'll have that money. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is that how can you kind of track those or whatever?
First of all, how transparent are these funds?
They are.
Can I know where all the money is being invested? If at all I have the time. I mean, working professionals are too busy to figure out where their fund manager is putting the money, but still.
Yes, you will, because the portfolio is kind of made available to you. Most of the fund houses do it on monthly basis, so you will be able to look at it. But honestly, if you really have that much skills and time, go and construct your own portfolio. Also look at the ratings of the underlying security. So that much you can do on your own once in a while. And if there are those nicely rated papers, you're fine. But if they've taken a call, be aware that this fund is taking an aggressive call, and there could be a problem.
Could you share with us some examples of the sort of paper that some of these more aggressive funds invest in? Because one should be aware, they need not be only investing in perhaps AAA securities or absolutely safe benchmark sovereign bonds. I'm guessing they do look at other sorts of debt as well.
So they could have been going for less rated, AA, single A kind of triple B or whatever. That's number one.
Including corporate paper.
It could be. Yeah. And then they could be also looking at so you also need to look at the industry in which they are purchasing. So if they're looking at a builder, now I'm not saying all builders are bad, but take a call. Are you comfortable with that? Are those secured or unsecured paper? Even if they are secured, what is the security? So for example, there could be an NBFC. Now I'm not saying NBFCs are bad. and the bond could be secured against the assets of that NBFC.
Sure.
But what if those assets themselves are not secure, safe?
Right.
So if an NBFC is lent to a builder and they're saying against, so those are technical calls, but that gets too technical. I mean, normal suggestion is that if you have so much time, then why get into a mutual fund? Construct your own portfolio.
So Gaurav, we've discussed debt mutual funds for a slightly more aggressive, younger investor. But let me now take up what you said. Okay, fine. If I don't want to go the debt mutual fund way, yet I want to have a stable, yet a portfolio with decent returns, and it's a debt portfolio, then what all should I put in it? And again, middle-aged working professional is what we're talking about.
So if you don't want debt mutual funds, and they're not bad, but it's just that then these are the options. Now, while parking in, the best solution from a planner's perspective is when is your requirement, which means we go back to our basics of goals. If you require money after 3 years, put in 3-year FD. Okay. If you want money after 5 years, National Savings Certificate. But if for some reason you have not decided, which is not the good thing.
But is that 5-year FD or 3-year FD, will it be, how will it compare with a debt mutual fund? And I'm not talking about the more aggressive funds, I'm talking about the basic debt mutual funds, which have these indexation benefits. So then where will it make sense for me to put money?
So in terms of tax, if you're looking at 5 years, then debt mutual funds will score, because then it gets into long-term capital gains. And hence the tax rates, but within 5 years we'll definitely see a complete cycle, interest rate going down and then going up. To that extent, there are chances of you making money, but there is a risk also that
you might lose out. You might lock in funds for 5 years at some 7.5%.
So if you don't want that, and if your goals are not decided, which is a sad state, then kind of do a staggering. Look at putting in different baskets with different maturity periods. So you may want to park some funds which mature in 1 to 2 years, some in 2 to 3 years, some beyond 3 to 5 years. So at different point in time you have money coming in, and then you also have an option of reinvesting. One thing is the risk that you are taking is when your money comes back, if interest rates have dropped, you are going to put in money again. Or then you may also want to look at NPS, National Pension System, and then put in money whereby you are saying that I'll not take equity exposure at all, because they have two options. One is in corporate bond and second is government security, or make combination of both.
Okay, so those are all the options available. So we've discussed mutual funds in the broad category of the mutual debt funds that one could look at. Very quickly, before we take a break, an overview for senior citizens, because we have a couple of queries coming in for them as well. For them, debt is all about security, safety, and the longevity of their money, of their returns. What should they keep in mind?
So for assured returns, senior citizen savings scheme is one option, post office monthly income scheme is second option. Obvious choices, number one. Number two, bank deposits will also give you regular returns, quarterly, half yearly, so that's quarterly most of them. So that's the third option that's available. Apart from that, these infrastructure bonds, very long term, but lesser returns, tax-free, 6 monthly could be coming in. And then we have monthly income plans of mutual funds, not assured return. There could be a little bit of equity component, but then you have a possibility of earning little better returns when things are good. So when there will be dividend distribution tax. So surety, little good returns, senior citizen savings scheme, post office monthly income scheme, surety for long term with lesser returns, but if you're in higher tax bracket, infrastructure bonds, and you want to take a call, post office mutual fund monthly income plans.
Okay, so that's a quick overview of everything that senior citizens should keep in mind. We'll take a break on that note, and we'll answer your queries on the other side. Don't go away.